The MCU is a very complicated story with dozens of characters and locations to be explored and developed over several years, so it makes sense that if you were to create a final boss, that they would have to be a ridiculously powerful being that requires everyone to try their hardest to live up to the challenge. But most importantly, they would have to be someone terrifying, someone whose mere presence rocks everyone to their core. Thanos was able to accomplish this during the Infinity Saga by being a villain who was more powerful than any of the Avengers individually. It took all of them working together to be able to defeat him, and even then it only happened after pretty severe losses. So knowing that Marvel is gonna make a new baddie, I wonder how they're going to be able to surpass—
I am Kang! No. Wait. You talk to ants. Wait.
Our first introduction to Kang was in season 1 of Loki. He sits at the end of time waiting for Loki to arrive, and then tells him that the entire MCU happened because of him, and that infinite Kangs are coming to kill everyone. Now, if we ignore the fact that absolutely nothing in this show makes any sense, I don't think this is a bad intro for our villain. Jonathan Majors has given a very good performance playing this tired old god, and his delivery holds a lot of weight when explaining the fact that everyone is in danger. The Avengers having to fend off against infinite of this guy is something that I'm interested in seeing, but the problem is that this intro just don't make no sense. There's only one Kang per universe, so is the idea that this one guy will take over entire universes? Because one universe is already a lot, so what is this guy hoping to do? The multiverse isn't really something you can conquer because it's too big for humans to comprehend. You would need Kang to be some kind of elder god or super being for this scale to make sense, which leads to the second issue. This Kang is just a dude sitting in a chair spouting off exposition. Without any signs that this guy's dangerous, the performances can only carry so far. But another major issue with this is that this is all the build-up that Kang gets. Now, a lot of people like to say that Thanos didn't really do much in the MCU until Infinity War, but that's not really true. Like, yeah, he doesn't appear much, but in several movies you can feel his influence in the background as he searches for the Infinity Stones. He may not be at the forefront of any scenes, but he certainly isn't a passive character. But with Kang, I don't even think I could explain to you what he is. The show tells us that the multiverse just got invented, but apparently this guy's been around purging timelines since before Wasp got stuck in the quantum verse. And despite the fact that the multiverse is described as infinite possibilities with infinite Kangs hell-bent on total conquest, they still want you to look at this specific Kang as the biggest threat in the multiverse. See, when you have one guy like Thanos, it's pretty easy to see him as a goal to be defeated, but with Kang, there's infinite of them, and even though they're not similar, they're all Kang, and when everyone is Kang, no one is. I can't be expected to care about any of these guys when there are an infinite amount of backups available whenever needed. Hell, the first Kang we met already got capped by female Loki, so how am I ever supposed to care about any of these fools? It really feels like the concept was dead on arrival, except that what if I told you that it wasn't? What if I told you about this little story that deals with alternate realities called Steel Ball Run?
Is that a JoJo reference? Father, are you producing a hormone right now?
In it, the main antagonist has a very similar set of powers. Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap allows Funny Valentine to access alternate dimensions to pull any object or any person to his own timeline, meaning that at any moment, Valentine can conjure other Valentines to fight for his cause, and if he's killed, he can just replace himself with another Valentine. This is kind of the same concept when you think about it, but the difference is the rules. D4C has access to infinite timelines, but they can only be ones where Funny Valentine is exactly the same, meaning that he can't pull some kind of god Valentine or something. And also, even though there are infinite Valentines, there's only one D4C, so if that gets destroyed, then you defeat Valentine. These rules exist not just to limit the power, but also to make it so that when you cycle through multiple Valentines throughout the series, his personality can still carry on. If Kang had similar rules to this, then I think we could have had a pretty interesting abstract villain. But the way the MCU has handled the multiverse rules has been kind of insane. It feels like every writer just makes up their own rules without any regard for what the other person wrote, and different rules just get made up or forgotten. Like, for example, did you know that if a person stays in a different universe that isn't their own, that they have a time limit until their presence creates an incursion and destroys that universe? That was established in Multiverse of Madness, but I guess they just forgot about it in Quantum Mania. Actually, they forgot about it in Multiverse of Madness too. Wait, that guy wrote Loki too? So in this movie, Kang wants to become really big. And to do that, he needs Ant-Man to throw his ant shurikens at his chair battery so he can power a portal to take over the world. And immediately the problem with this is that they're trying to make Kang seem like a scary villain, but the movie doesn't really know how. In his intro, he tries to come across as reasonable to get Scott's help, but he also tells him that he's killed a lot of people in other timelines. I don't know if you should be telling him that.
You're an Avenger. If I killed you before, they all blur together after a while. You're not the one with the hammer.
No. Otherwise, he'd have a hammer. On one hand, I kinda like his bluntness. He doesn't waste time getting Scott to help him. He just tells him to do it or he'll kill his daughter. That's some good villain stuff. But once he gets his chair ball, he betrays Ant-Man and doesn't return Cassie. Why do you even want her? She's like super annoying. It's clear that the writers have an understanding of the aesthetics of a good villain, but they don't get what justifies those aesthetics. And to explain that, we had to talk about MODOK.
Surprised to see me?
See, the thing is, MODOK is actually not as badly written as a lot of people think. He's a villain that's actually threatening, has a believable enough motivation, and goes through a legit character arc. He's a broken man who is fueled by revenge, who thinks that he has too far gone to be any form of a hero. He believes himself to be only capable of destruction and killing, and has to be told by Cassie that it's never too late to be better. The arc is absolute cringe, but it is something. And if we ignore the fact that he looks like Mr. Electric, the only reason I can't take him seriously is because nobody takes him seriously, including Kang. The trope of the bad guy hurting his henchmen only works under very specific context. It's not supposed to be about the bad guy losing his temper. That's stupid. It's about the villain disciplining his underlings to keep them in line and maintain his authority. Having Kang slam MODOK against a wall and say that he can't speak while he's in a room is really stupid and dumb. Like, what, does MODOK have to leave the room whenever he wants to talk to Kang? Does he have to yell at him from really far away whenever Kang asks him a question? All of this just screams at the writers wanting something they simply don't understand. They want Kang to be really cool like Thanos, saying all these one-liners and hurting innocent people, but they also want him to shout really cringy lines. I am Kang! They want Kang to be a really calm and rational villain who tries to be reasonable when interacting with the good guys, but they also have him reveal to Ant-Man that he's lying to them to show how evil he is. And Jonathan Majors is trying so hard to make the bad dialogue work. He is the only reason this villain is any actual fun to watch, but it just doesn't matter. None of it matters because by the end of the movie, he still has to lose. See, the problem is, you can't have a movie with this high stakes starring Ant-Man, because Ant-Man has to win. And if the main villain of the MCU can be defeated by Ant-Man, then how can anyone take him seriously? See, I feel like if you were to write this story, then you wouldn't want Kang to be the main antagonist. Maybe have Kang be a third party while Ant-Man fights Bill Murray, thinking that he's the one that trapped him in the Quantumverse. Then you can have Kang pretend to be interested in helping Scott escape the Quantumverse, using him to get out while coming across as friendly and approachable. Until finally, once Bill Murray is defeated, it's revealed that he didn't do it and that Kang lied to everyone. This way, you can still have Scott defeat a villain while also showing that Kang is an opportunistic, conniving strategist who profited off of their conflict. Because like I said in the Grand Admiral Thrawn video, you shouldn't introduce your main antagonist and have him lose to the good guys immediately. We're supposed to believe that Kang has conquered entire universes, but he can't defeat Ant-Man. He can't even defeat Ant. Yet he's supposed to be on the same level as Thanos? Should I remind you what Thanos did in his first appearance? Ending the movie with the Council of Ricks is even more distracting when you realize that they're all supposed to be the same as this Kang. But they're also all afraid of him, and they all get summoned, and they're all screaming like crazy people, and there's like an Egyptian Kang, and what is this? Why do we need this many Kangs? Why can't he just be one guy? Or why can't they all be the same guy? That way you can have individual Kangs get defeated while still allowing the other Kangs to take his place. There's so much potential to make Kang a more interesting character than Thanos, but every time they write these half measures that go back on the characters and the story and the world building until all you have left is a character that has a lot of screen time, yet no development. We never even get to hear his motivation. You know, the thing that all villains need. And finally, we have Victor Timely. I kind of like the idea of seeing a version of Kang that isn't fully evil yet, but what we get is actually something that still makes no sense. They try to make him be born in the 1800s, even though he's supposed to be from the distant future, and he has this stupid voice stutter to try to make him all quirky, and he acts like this bumbling scientist. I know this isn't the same Kang, but he is supposed to be a younger version of the same character. So seeing him acting like this doesn't really help his intimidation factor. And when you show us this, I'm gonna start laughing. This is hilarious. So anyways, his complete lack of agency makes him a surprisingly flat character despite being the Kang with the most screen time, and his inability to realize that infinity is a big number makes him really stupid. And I don't really want to talk about the return of Immortus because there's no point in unpacking the insanity that is held in that conversation. Just like the Ahsoka show, it's trying to pretend like all of this makes some sort of sense. So let me tell you now, it doesn't. And I hate it when writers pretend to be good. Jonathan Majors is currently facing several allegations of pretty bad things, and the evidence seems to be pretty damning, which means that Disney is likely to scrap this character entirely, considering that nobody really likes him anyways, leaving him as one of the most bizarre villains ever created by the MCU. A hodgepodge of insane ideas that all died before they even got a chance to grow, leaving us with a boring villain that we probably won't get to make fun of anymore. It's kind of annoying to think about it, because villains like Thanos needed time and effort to be developed. They managed to grow because of the patience and coordination of multiple writers and directors to prepare audiences for the arrival of this monolith of death. But the MCU just doesn't have that patience anymore. We're probably never going to get a good long-term villain now because these people are incapable of keeping a villain consistent for one movie. I like villains because I love seeing them torture the heroes, because all the pain they inflict on a hero is an opportunity for them to put more effort into achieving their victory. But that goes the same for villains. You need to spend time and effort to make them a viable threat. You can't just expect them to be intimidating off the bat. And if you're not willing to put in that basic effort, then how do you ever hope to live up to villains like Thanos? That's all I got for this video. Goodbye!